So a very surreal experience that I have no other choice than to share happened to me today. Extremely surreal. I was at the bus station waiting for the bus, and I happened to be there alone. I was the only guy waiting for the bus, apparently. And all of a sudden, this old man, old Arabic man, approached me with his little whitish cream robe, and I don't know how those hats are called. Obviously, a Muslim, and nothing wrong with that. I'm used to that sight. In France, it's very common. As a matter of fact, some people come from outside the country sometimes for the first time to visit me, and they made some weird remarks like, "Are we in France or wherever?" So it can be perceived as racist, but it is a strange sight when you're not used to it. Nevertheless, I am used to it. It's the common landscape, so nothing weird up until now. Then he sits next to me and starts to speak to me in Arabic, as if he knew me forever. And I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. I didn't say, sorry, I don't speak Arabic, or excuse me, because it was going to be some type of apologetic position, and I made sure not to put myself in this because I don't have to apologize not to speak Arabic in France. So, I was kind of, as a matter of fact, I was kind of offended that he assumed that I would speak Arabic, not that I look like an Arab. And well, if I did, obviously there would be nothing wrong with that, but I don't. And was it because of some beards, or is it something that they appropriated themselves? Like, if you have a beard, you are a Muslim, therefore you speak Arabic. I mean, already I was kind of pissed there, but nevertheless, I carry on. I mean, he was a nice guy. I mean, he had those little crow feet. Obviously a face that has smiled a lot or squinted a lot under the sun by a hard work. And he did seem to be a little bit hardened by life, and he had a very, very, very strong face with strong features, but likable features, very nice features. Um, and maybe 60, 70, like if he was in his 70s, he looked good. But if he was in the 60s, he looked kind of busted. Anyway, he's explaining to me that he was all gently, with a very soft-spoken voice, and this generous smile, like very generous smile. And he's explaining to me that pretty quickly we enter in this conversation about Daesh, which is how ISIS is called here. So we know all the confusion that goes around that name: ISIS, ICE, ISIL, Daesh in France. And he was condemning their attitude. He was condemning their fight. So up until now, like we agree. I'm like, what a good guy. And but soon enough, he's telling me that even though he disagrees with their ways, that Islam was the only way. That eventually Islam is the way. And he reminded me what it meant, which was submission to God, submission. And so anyway, he's sharing his religious beliefs, and but he's pushing it further. He's explaining to me that there's no real difference between the New World Order of the globalists and Islam, because they all want the New World Order. The difference is that with Islam, it's a good New World Order. And he was totally supporting the idea of Sharia law, and he said that we the French, we better convert to Islam so we can all be living peacefully as soon as possible, peacefully together. And it was just surreal because he was a little single operating cell on his own, uh, promoting the idea of Islam and submission in this like a kind, gentle, oldish way, And he said that the Sharia law was good, and that basically once the Sharia law comes to France, which it will, according to him, we will, as soon as we submit to Islam, we will all be living happily ever after. I mean, he made it sound like some type of fairy tale, And I mean, if I had to choose between being under Islamist dominion and some Nazi dominion, I would choose the Nazi. I would. At least I'm more familiar with it. But of course, like it's not a position I would like to be in life to have to choose between the two, and that's what all of this is about. Not to get there either way, but so he's told me, yeah, I mean, you guys have to submit to Islam, and once you submitted to Islam, we're gonna have Sharia law, and we're gonna all be living happily ever after under Islam. But all gently, soft spoken, and then he left, and I was left there totally flabbergasted. That is not a word I got to use many times in my life, but it's the only one appropriate to the situation. Freaking flabbergasted. And by the speech, it's like the situation was surreal. Like, first of all, like the guy came next to me, he sat down, started to speak Arabic, and obviously after the conversation, he was not so much waiting for the bus because he left. So what was he doing there? Why did he approach me? Why did he come? And his speech reflects like I guess what the common Muslims, the silent Muslims, are actually thinking deep down. I don't want to. I really don't want to generalize, but the issue was that I really didn't expect that from I mean, I get, I get to be speechless here. An old man, very nice face. Once again, that's the thing, he looked like such a nice guy. He looked like a little gentle poo, like the sunny side of the Arabic world. Coming to me with peace, soft-spoken voice, still explaining to me why the Sharia law was good, and that not only like we should all embrace it, but that eventually the sooner the better, and that we should like cross that line of conversion on our own, because at least it will happen more peacefully. And on the other hand, he was criticizing Daesh, ISIS, but basically having the same type of mentality and conviction and belief than they seem to do. So that was just a weird experience, and to me it tends to reflect what the silent Muslims are feeling deep down. Because at the end of the day, I don't see many of them condemning ISIS. I don't see them like really outspoken in the world for those that have like the power of a expression platform. I don't really see their insurgents. When they're interviewed, they're claiming those beliefs don't represent them, and I do believe that most of them are of good faith, but that it was still a weird experience. Anyway, I thought I would share it because it's surreal enough to talk about it. even in France. Take care, guys.